Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, August 3rd. It is 6:19 right now. Market's gonna open in about 11 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a couple things here to update and we should be good to go. Good. Things. All right, looks like we're good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Good. Get a few moments for people to make their way in. All right, perfect. So I'll get a few moments for people to join, guys, and then we will get started shortly with our analysis for today. So good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, August 3rd. It is 6:21 right now. Market's gonna open in about 9 minutes. So I'll just get a few more moments for people to join. And then we will get started shortly. Post this up here as well. And I'll give you guys a little update too when once everyone's in the room. Because I had to do some stuff this morning. So the thing that I'll just wait for more people to show up so I can kind of just tell everybody. So I'm just gonna mark up liquidity first, guys, because it looks like people are still joining in. We're still kind of early, so I'll mark up liquidity first, and then I will give you guys a little update about like what needs to be done if you guys are still trading top step on trading view. So I'm gonna start over here on the weekly time frame. We'll go on the week on the weekly here for liquidity. So we'll start off here. I'll mark up all of the untested high lows. We got a weekly right there, right there, right there. I mean, these lower liquidities are probably not really necessary, but I'm going to mark them up anyways. Go down to the 8-hour. So we do have liquidity sitting up top. I mean, eventually it'll probably get hit by tomorrow, actually. Maybe not today, but it'll probably get hit by tomorrow for NFP. I think this drop right here is all temporary. I don't think this is going to hold for very long, because we do have NFP tomorrow, and that's probably going to spike price to the upside. There's some liquidity that's kind of close to. It's not super far off. So I think eventually, yeah, this liquidity is not that far off. Market's actually been kind of slow since yesterday's session, so there might be liquidity over here that's starting to build up. All right, we're moving down to the 30-minute liquidity over here. I'm going to go and change this to red so that you guys know it's low level liquidity. Mark that up right there. 10-minute time frame. All right, looks like we are good to go. So I pretty much marked up liquidity from the weekly down to the 10-minute time frame. As you guys can see over here, closest level of liquidity is going to be down below right here. This is probably going to get hit pre-market. It's 6:24 right now. We have about 6 minutes till market open. Closest level of liquidity is going to be right here at 35,296. If you guys are looking for that level, I'll probably only go for 100 pips if that's something that you guys want to take. The next level is going to be up here. I think the next level is going to be a little better because there's a higher level of liquidity right above it. So this might push to, the full move. I mean, but who knows? We'll see what happens in market opens. All right, guys, looks like the majority of you guys are here so far. So the thing that I was discussing earlier that I had to do before I got on this live session was I was trying to log into my TradeOvate here on TradingView, and it wasn't letting me log in. So what I had to do was I had to go back to my TradeOvate, log in on the actual TradeOvate account, and then go to add-ons and then activate access to TradingView. So if you guys are trying to log into your TradeOvate on TradingView, you might get an error. It says that access was not granted. I'm assuming they're fixing their systems right now. I mean, it's not really affecting me anymore because I'm entering the trades through TradeOvate directly. But if you guys are still trying to trade on TradingView, you might get an error. You would have to go to the TradeOvate, the actual TradeOvate platform and activate access there. And then once you do that, you can log back in like you normally do. So, all right, guys, morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, August 3rd. It is 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Kevin. Morning, Van Hartwig. Morning, Shiv. Morning, Dan. Morning, Saren. Morning, James. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Karen. Morning, Randy. Morning, Kaner. Morning, Daniel. Morning, everybody. Looks like the majority of you guys are here so far, about half of you guys at least. I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest level down below is going to be at 35,296. That's going to be the low level liquidity right here. Probably go for 100 pips if you guys are looking to touch that. There's a higher level of liquidity over here that's above the low level. So there's liquidity on both sides. Looking over here at the sentiment, let's take a look at retail sentiment. It's currently 75% short. This indicates that 75% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So you typically want to do the opposite and buy long term. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently down 88 points. Not down super heavy, but they are down slightly. So we're gonna put, it's obviously gonna be like a bearish neutral bias right there with regard to fundamentals. Looking over here at the news, there was some news over here at 4:30, challenger job cuts, and 5:30. So we had news over here at 4:30, 5:30. I'll mark that up over here on our main chart. We had news over here at 4:30. Which was right here, and then 5:30, which was right here. All right, guys, before market opens, I'm gonna grab some water real quick, so I'll be right back. I'll step away for a few minutes. Be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Market's gonna open in about 10 seconds. You guys can see the liquidity here did get hit. If you guys took the lower level liquidity right there, went straight to TP like anticipated. We did predict this to happen pre-market because this typically happens right here. So if you guys took that lower level, the lower level just got hit right there, went straight through TP. So if you guys went for 100 pips, would have went right through. I didn't take the trade, so I'm not going to count it, of course. But yeah, there goes the first level of liquidity right there. Market is now open, and we will see where price will continue to go. So we marked up news over here at 4:30, 5:30. We have more news at 6:45, 7 o'clock, 7:30, and 8:30. So basically 6:45, 7, 7:30. I'm gonna go and mark that up over here. 6:45, 7, 7:30. So we got a couple of news events coming up over here. You guys can see the crazy movement right here as price swings back up. Retail sentiment still 75% short. So you probably expect a lot of this crazy movement to still play out here. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment is bullish. It is 75% short. Fundamental bias is it's bearish neutral. It was like negative, I think like 75 points. Short-term technicals, we'll take a look at that, and long-term technicals as well. So let's take a look at that right now. Looking over here at the short-term technicals, you can see price is bearish. It's below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down, momentum's red. So for the short term, you can see here it's bearish. And then over here on the long term, you can see that it is also bearish actually. So it's bearish. Yeah, it's pretty bearish on both. So we're just going to put bearish for both of these here. So this is kind of interesting here because the retail sentiment is very I mean, it's not super high, but it is pretty high. It's at 75% short. But the interesting thing here that's even more interesting is that everything else is kind of bearish. So the fundamentals are bearish, technicals are bearish. So it's really going to be a toss-up right here because you can't really assume one direction, right? Which is completely fine. I actually like it when it's this way because price will actually push in both directions. So with price pushing in both directions like that, we can possibly look for buys and or sells. It doesn't really matter which direction we're trading in, because there's no like one direction bias. So retail sentiment is currently bullish at 75% short. Fundamental bias is bearish neutral, negative 75 points. It's probably going to increase as price continues to move along. Short-term technicals over here are bearish. Long-term technicals are bearish. We have news over here at 6:45. That's something to look out for. But other than that, I mean, we'll see what happens when the market continues to move along. So let it kind of stabilize here a bit. Once it stabilizes, we'll continue on and look for a possible entry. Right now, let me go and mark up opening price, which was right there. So, per usual, you guys will probably see price bounce around this opening price. You guys know how this works typically. I'm going to go over here and mark it up on the clean chart as well. So if anything, price may drop a little bit and come right back up as it, obviously dances between the opening price and wherever the high and lows end up being established for the day. So as you guys can see where price is currently at, it's pretty much just stuck right here at opening price again, per usual, and it just keeps going back and forth. So expect some fake outs in both directions. There's not really much of an overall bias for today. It's pretty mixed. So we're going to wait for the market to stabilize a bit, maybe wait for the first news event here to pass at 6:45, because once that happens, then we'll have a direction. And then from that point, we can start looking for possible entry. But yeah, since there's no like one clear direction of price movement here, we're probably going to stick to the 1 minute here for the most part. The 5 minutes going to be a little too messy because there's no direction. Typically when there's like one direction to be trading in, the 5 minutes really easy because price just keeps pushing in that direction, right? I think the 1 minute would be easier because since price is going to be bouncing back and forth, the 1 minute will show where the current direction is. Like we won't be like stuck following sells, we won't be stuck looking for buys. We'll be looking wherever the market moves. So with that said, we'll probably use the 1 minute to our advantage here. 633 right now. Volatility is pretty nice. So volatility is bouncing back and forth. ATR is currently at 20 right now here on the 1 minute. As you guys know, we typically want it to be above 15, which is perfect. So I'm just going to go and maximize the 1 minute here because the 5 minutes not really, I mean, it's going to be useful, but not super useful for us today specifically because there's no bias. Like everything keeps going in both directions. I think long-term price will push up. I think price might stay below for today. And then maybe later on today, it'll push up. And then I think tomorrow price will push all the way up because we do have some high impact news tomorrow with NFP. But yeah, other than that, news at 6:45, 7:30. And we'll pretty much play by ear and see where this ends up going. But yeah, so since price is coming back up right here, you can see there's no direction. Fundamental bias is bearish, short-term technical is bearish, long-term technical is bearish. But you can see over here that on the short term, price is starting to push back up, right? So I think long-term direction is going to be bullish, but we just got to wait for the market to really stabilize and choose a direction. Because the last thing you want to do is chase a move and then it doesn't continue pushing in that direction. All right, but other than that, I think that's pretty much it for right now. So let me just make sure I looked at everything here. We have the bias marked up. We have news marked up. We have opening price, previous news events marked up, liquidity over here. So price is pushing back up. The first level of liquidity here already got hit. So that's already a full TP on that. You can see right here, the higher level is about to get hit soon. Yeah, it's getting up to it. Next level of liquidity here is going to be 35,367. Then there's another one right above it at 35,368 or 378, which is going to be the higher level of liquidity. So you got the low level right here in the red line. You got the high level above it. If price continues to climb up higher, that's going to be the target price point for price to reach. Obviously, first level of liquidity got hit down here already. If you guys took that easy move, if you guys went for the full move or if you guys went for 100 pips, doesn't really matter. Either one would have hit. 100 pips would have hit right there. 300 pips would have hit too. It's just really up to preference, right? On these low level liquidities, I typically go for the smaller move if I was going for it. I didn't go for this move here, so I'm not going to count it as a win, even though it did hit pretty nicely. But yeah, guys, other than that, let's see if there's anything else here for us to follow through with. I don't think there's really much at the moment, but it looks like price is starting to stabilize here a little bit. As it starts to stabilize, I can start looking for, or I guess just start marking up the levels. So I'm going to start doing that right now. Let's see. So price is currently right here, mark up to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 0, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50. All right. So I pretty much marked up the levels right here so we can kind of see how market structure is moving. Currently right now, so let's see. Currently right now, we have to wait for another momentum signal. This momentum here has already been used up. You can see we have a sell signal right here. Price came down. Price retraced up right here, and the entry would have happened right here, but it was right on open, so I wouldn't have messed with it. But sell signal right here, price retraced, no entry, price pushed down further, retraced right here. Entry would have happened at this level at the 10, and then it would have dropped straight down to TP. So this sell signal has pretty much been used up already. We have to wait for the next signal here to confirm the following entry. So we need to look for a buy signal and then maybe a correction with the sell signal or a buy signal and reversal. So there's no entries for us right now, but you can see the most recent entry right here would have hit TP off this, this sell momentum. I mean, pretty much both of them hit. So there's a sell momentum right here. The trend started shifting right here. So price right here pushed up. Entry would have happened right here. This all happened pre-market though. So this happened at 6 o'clock. There's an entry right there, full TP. This happened at 6 o'clock, and then buy signal right here. Trend was still bearish, so you wouldn't have taken the trade here. We waited for the sell signal right here. Price pushed down, retraced right there. Entry would have happened here at the 10 mark. Another full TP. So two back-to-back full TPs for momentum pullback scalps. There's just no other entry for right now. We have to wait for another momentum signal to come up before we can look for possible entry. Looking over here on the 5-minute. So there was actually another entry right here on the 5-minute, but you can see that it was a little more crazy because it happened on open. So price kind of dropped right here. This was a retracement candle. Entry would have happened right here at this point. Right there at the 10. ATR was 32. So pretty messy move right there. I don't know if it's TP or stop loss, but the 5-minute is super messy here because there's no direction. I think the thing with the 5-minute here, if we start applying it, because I don't really apply the 5-minute as much, but if we do apply the 5-minute, we have to incorporate bias because it's a higher time frame. It's not like the 1-minute where you can kind of just take trades in both directions whenever the short-term trend is confirmed. But the 5-minute's a little different because it's just a little more messy, right? We're not really messy, but it's a lot more volatile. Plus, you have to look out for like certain candles like this right here. I would have taken this move because this was the opening candle. You guys can see how crazy the movement happened in comparison to the previous candle. So the 5-minute, I'll still look at the 5-minute, but I think our main focus for today and just for the time being will probably be the 1-minute over here because the 5-minute's not really going to give us very many entries because of the direction. There's not really, a set direction. Price just keeps going back and forth for the most part. All right, so no entries over here yet. We're just waiting for the retracement. I'm looking for a buy signal here to come up to a retrace and then confirm the confirmation back to the downside for the sell. We have news coming up right here at 6:45, so it's not really a big deal. Not really looking to take anything here to begin with. We'll have to wait for the news here to pass. So there goes the liquidity right there. Yeah, Rashida said liquidity smacked. So there's this higher level liquidity never got hit. It's still pending, but the lower level liquidity over here, or high level liquidity on the lower side ended up hitting right here. So if you guys took the liquidity over here, it went straight to TP. I didn't take either of these trades, so obviously I'm not going to count them, but the liquidity right there did get hit. The second lower level liquidity over here didn't get hit yet. It's still running, but did not get hit yet specifically. So if you're looking, so this is the first level right here. If it comes back down for a retest, you can possibly enter on this retest down here if it continues to drop. Price is a bit overextended though, so you want to be a little careful with the entry. I'd be okay with this one, but this one over here, it's a little risky. You want to wait for the retracement. Price did retrace up a little bit, but not necessarily enough for me to consider it like a real retracement, right? I need price to kind of pull back a little bit, fake out, and then come right back down. So what you'd want to see here, I mean, TP got hit on this one already. There's another level right here for the retest. What you kind of want to see here is the retracement where price retraces up a little bit. Okay, so the retracement happened here. You want to see some consolidation. And then if it comes back down, that's where you want to make your entry because it's going to actually break through. The thing with this here is that I see the liquidity. The liquidity is probably lower. So the orders are probably sitting down below even further. Because these are so close to each other that I think the orders are actually sitting down here. So if price gets down to this point, then I'm expecting it to push down to the next level, right? Which is even lower. So you guys can see over here, pretty much all liquidity that I marked up pretty much got knocked out. I do this every morning. So if you guys are new here, just get here earlier if you want to see where I'm marking up liquidity, because I mark up liquidity every day before market open. We marked up this lower level right here. It got hit pre-market right there at like 6:28, like 2 minutes before market open. Next level of liquidity right here got hit at 6:41. And then there's going to be another level right here for the retest. If you guys are looking for these liquidity pushes, guys, I would probably only go for one at a time, right? So for example, here, this one would be one, and then you wait for the retracement and it comes back down. This would be one. I wouldn't enter the second one. I'd wait for it to retrace again. And then when it comes back down for a retest, then take that next level right here. Because the thing is, you don't want to get greedy, right? It's like that one saying, like, pigs eat or hogs get slaughtered, something like that. Like that one saying, like if you get too greedy and you just want to take every single entry and you don't want to wait for any retracement or consolidation or ranging, you're going to get slaughtered eventually. You can get lucky here and there, but for the most part, focus on like one entry at a time. One entry right here, one entry right here. Don't enter this one right away because this is just overextension. Prices dropped like, let's see. Price pretty much started from up here. It dropped over 1,000 pips. You guys already know my rule of thumb. If it drops more than 1,000 pips, it's probably going to be overextended for sure. And that's just something that I stand by, right? Because, obviously it's something that typically happens very often. So it looks like this next level, if it gets hit again, it's probably going to drop even lower. We do have news. This is actually the news candle. So I'd probably be a little careful about this right here. But yeah, if price does come back down for another retest of this area, it's probably going to push right through. It might not get to this level yet, but it might get a little bit halfway. Yeah, exactly. C6 said agreed. If you take one, market maker is hoping you take the second and third one. Exactly. That's typically what happens, and you know how a lot of people get caught in certain moves. So let's see. So that level over there didn't get hit yet. I got close to it, but didn't necessarily get hit just yet. See what this goes to. So it looks like that next level of liquidity did get hit right here. I don't know if it actually pushed through, not yet, almost. I mean, it's pushing. Check the news candle right here real quick. This is, there's one prior to it up here right there. So I'm going to color that pink or news. So market's pretty much reacting to the news candle right there. And I'm going to see what was the news. 645 right here, S&P Global. Let's see, it was neutral. S&P Global Composite PMI. The high impact news is coming up right here at 7 o'clock. It's not there yet, but it is coming up soon. Let's see what I'm missing here. Nice. C6 said he caught the first level. Maddie said he caught the first level. Rick said he missed the entry on liquidity earlier. Yeah, it's okay if you guys aren't taking liquidity. I'm just sitting because the news right here is obviously price is reacting to news, right? So I'm not really taking any entries yet until after the market is really stabilized. We have the buy signal right here now. Price is coming back down. At this point, now looking for a possibility of correction to the downside. So right here, we have that buy signal that we're looking for. We're now looking for a sell signal, looking for price to come down and then push back up. And then from there, I'll be looking for the next entry. So you guys can see right here the fake out. This is why you want to skip entries around news, because obviously stuff like this will happen, right? As I mentioned, the level of liquidity right here, I think the stops are sitting down here, the middle area. I didn't take any trades yet. I'm still waiting. So whenever you have a news event like this at 6:40, well, let me just mark it up. So right here at 6:45 is when the news event happened. At this point, you kind of want to wait for market to react to it, because you can see over here, I mean, the news was negative. It wasn't negative or positive. It was neutral. So, I mean, price can really go either way. You can see over here that, or is it forecasted? So it was forecasted to be, let's see, forecasted to be 52.4. It was pretty much at 52. So the actual was like pretty much flat. So there wasn't really much of like any decision making based off this. It was really, if anything happened after it, was all manipulation, right? It was low impact news too. It wasn't super high impact. But now we're just looking for that sell signal. Now that we have this news event that's came up, we have about 10 minutes till the next news event. So If we don't get a sell signal soon, then we're probably just gonna have to wait a little bit. But I'll see if I can maybe squeeze one in between. So I'm looking for a sell signal here to come up. Once the sell signal comes up, I'm gonna look for that retracement and then possible entry here. But yeah, at the moment, not really too much to work with right now specifically. $650 right now. If you don't get a sell, well, we're probably not going to get it because price is still pushing up right here. If we don't get a sell signal in the next like 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes, we're probably have to wait until this news event passes at 7 o'clock. The volatility is still very high though, so it's a good thing right here that's still sticking pretty high, because after the news event passes, we can still look for entry. The only thing here that we need to look out for is direction of price. So if price corrects to the upside, then we'll look for some buys there. Price comes below, we'll continue looking for sells. There's just two different scenarios that we're looking out for here. We're looking for either a sell signal. So let me just mark it up for you. We're looking for a sell signal here. If we get a sell signal, I'm gonna look for it to push down, retrace, and come back down. If that's the case, that's where I'm gonna be taking entry. Right there, right? If price pushes up, then that's fine too. If price pushes up and we get a green trend meter down here and price is above the pivots, and if that's the case, I'll be looking for a buy right there, right? It doesn't matter what direction we're going to be trading in. We're just going to confirm where price is currently moving at that specific time. It's 651 right now. I don't think the sell signal is going to come up anytime soon, but we're still a bit focused here on a sell entry, because prices, the trend here is still bearish. You just want to make sure that the momentum and trend align with each other. And then from there, we'll start looking for entry. There's no momentum right now. There is trend, but no momentum. So we're looking for that sell signal to confirm the momentum. Once we get that, we're good. Look for entry. But right now, again, it's just, it's just a waiting game. Let's see, B's asking, hey, Sean, how come you split your FTMO accounts to 100Ks? Because I thought it was going to help with my MFF, but it didn't. Because if they're all 100Ks, they're just taking the same lot size, right? You're just doing ×1 lot size multiplier. Because the thing is, when I was trading with a 200K, I was capped at 100 lots on my MFF. I don't know if I have to knock down my MFFs to 100K too, because initially I thought that was a problem. I thought it was because the copier wasn't able to change the lot size quick enough, and it would just have later execution times, but it's the same thing. It hasn't changed anything. I've only taken one trade though, so I mean, we'll see, what happens moving forward. But for the most part, that's kind of what I did, and the reason why. Yes, so B said a long time ago when I used the 5 lots on MFF, the fills were a lot better. Not sure how it is now, or 50. So maybe 100K is better. Yeah, I'm gonna try that too. I haven't split up my MFFs into 100K counts. We're still at 200K. I need to wait for my payout so I can split them up. I was waiting for my FTMO payout. So once I got my payout, I just requested to have it split up, and then they did that all like within 1 day. So no, you're right, B. I think that might be the case. Like maybe lower lots will kind of be easier to fill, and I'm not going to have like that slippage issue, but I mean, we'll see. I'm just trying to keep it as ideal as possible, because I don't know, I'm trying to figure out MFF still. It's been like a couple months now, almost like half a year since like I've been getting like partial profits on my MFF, so I'm trying to figure out a way to like make them aligned. And I think this is the first step basically, because I still like MFF. They still pay out. So MFF is okay. They still pay out, but it's like I get undercut like half profit almost every time I take a trade. So, you think about it, if I'm getting cut off like $500 per account and you multiply that by how many days I trade, it's a lot of money that I'm basically missing out on. So yeah, that's the reason why I split them up. It's not really a big deal. I mean, I have to pay a little extra on my copier now because there's a limit on how many accounts you can put on your copier. So I'm probably paying like maybe like $200 a month just for my copier now. Not a big deal, because if I profit like one trade, it covers the expenses for that copier. So yeah, it just comes with the territory of having like 8 accounts because I have 8 accounts now. If you guys saw my copier, I have a lot of accounts on my copier. It's not just 4 or 5 accounts anymore, it's 8 accounts. So a lot of accounts right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus my top step. So I got a lot of accounts that I'm trading now. The copier still seems fine. I also added my personal account to my personal Hanko account. If you guys saw my trade from yesterday, it was negative. So I don't know about that Hanko account. We'll have to see. Because I don't think Hanko is going to be able to handle, these quick moves. I don't know how their spread is. I don't know how their execution times are. So if it doesn't come out solid, then I'm just going to take off my personal account. It's hard to find a broker that can execute trades at the speed that we need to for these scalps. So just a heads up, guys, just like, quick little update for you guys there, why I split my accounts up. But yeah, no, thanks, B. Your inputs is good because now I know that you had the same issue before too, and it fixed it when you lowered your lot size. All right, so we got news over here in 5 minutes, guys. I don't think we're going to have anything here anytime soon. So it's got to sit tight for the next 5 minutes, wait for this news over here to pass through. And then once it passes through, we can start looking for possible entry. Looking for the sell signal here still. I actually don't want the sell signal to come up yet. It's coming up right here. The reason why I don't want it to come up is because it's going to cut into news price right here. Like I don't want a sell signal to come up and then there'd be an entry right here, right next to news. And then we have to miss that entry because news, obviously, it's high impact news. I'm not going to trade at 7 o'clock. So I would probably, I'd probably just sit tight for a little bit. And I'm hoping the sell signal doesn't close because if it does, it's gonna take up our opportunity right there to take entry. Hey Kenny, how's it going? Morning. 17 said, hey bro, my MT4 has been freezing like crazy. You should probably just reset it. I'm not having any issues on my MT4 right now. Is anybody else having issues with their MT4? I haven't seen any problems on my end, so mine is fine for the most part. But if you are having issues, you might want to just restart it. That's probably gonna fix it. All right, we got news right here in about 3 minutes. 6:57, news coming up at 7 o'clock. Let me check. I think it's ISM manufacturing, right? Or ISM services. Okay. So we got ISM services right here, PMI, inflation news, and we have factory orders as well. 7 o'clock. So we'll see how this moves price. It's high impact. So see how this goes. It's a messy NFP week for us. Not super messy, but messy as it should be. All right, we got 3 minutes till 7. So the news here hits. We're just going to sit tight and wait. I'm glad the sell signal didn't come up, so it didn't really screw with our entry here. But it doesn't really matter. If price pushes up higher, then we're going to start looking for some buys. So not really a big deal for us here. Price can push wherever it needs to. I was just hoping we wouldn't get the sell signal because I didn't want to mess with our possible entry here. However, the trend meter down below is starting to turn blue. So if price continues to push up higher. So if price pushes up higher and it gets around to this area, trend meter is going to turn green. And if that's the case, we'll just start looking for a buy there. So not really, it's not really a big deal. Whether price goes up, we'll look for a buy. If price comes back down, we'll look for a sell. We do have a bullish momentum, but we don't have a bullish trend. So there's no entry for us to necessarily take right now. Let's see, Randy says MT5 froze about 10 minutes ago. Somehow it ended up entering a position. Hopefully you close it out in profit, Randy. Yeah, me personally, I haven't seen any problems with my MT4. I don't know if it's like, the thing with MT4 is that the platform is so dated that you don't really know what's going on with it, right? You don't know if it's a connectivity issue. You don't know if it's, I never know what's going on with MT4. That's why I don't really like using MT4 that much. But yeah, it could be a lot of things. It could be connectivity issue. It could be the actual platform. It could be your broker. It could be a lot of things. Main fix for it though is usually just to reset it. And if that doesn't fix it, then yeah, I probably don't trade on the MC4. Now that you mention it, I'm kind of worried to take trades on my MC4 now. Is it frozen? No, it's moving. I don't know if it's frozen or if it's just flat, guys. I think the price is just a little flat right now because it's flat over here on TradingView too. Like lately, it's been kind of like the past couple candles. It looks like it's frozen. Like for example, right here, it looks like it's frozen because it's not moving, but it's really just not moving at all. So we got the news candle right here, guys. I'm gonna go and mark that up. But yeah, I can't really say if it's frozen or not because I haven't seen any problems with it. But it's good to know because if that's the case, then maybe I just want to trade on my MC4 today. I'll just trade on Top Step. All right, so we got the sell signal right here. This is the news candle at 7. Price is pushing back up. We now have a buy signal. Price is pushing up even higher. Let's take a look at the news event. News event over here at 7 o'clock was ISM services PMI was negative and factory orders was positive. So mixed news right there. Doesn't really matter to us whether it's positive or negative. We're just kind of seeing how price reacts to it. We currently have a sell signal here. So if price comes back down below, we'll look for some sells. If price continues to push up higher with the buy signal, then we'll look for some buys. Not really a big deal for us here. So, all right, we currently have a pending buy signal. If that's the case, we need price to like really climb up in order for us to have entry here. If not, then, we just got to sit tight and wait. So, all right, I'm going to keep following this right here. We have a buy signal. Price is pushing up slightly, but we do not have the bullish trend yet. So I'm going to go over here to the clean chart. You guys can see the market's been pretty messy. I'm going to go and mark up structure over here. So guys, just a reminder, just be patient. You guys don't have to force any trades here. If you guys don't want to take liquidity trades, you don't need to. I'm not even taking them myself. So, it's kind of a sign right there that you don't need to force any trades. I know the liquidity trades they're very lucrative. Like when you see them, you want to take them. But I think liquidity here, unless you really know how to reprice action, like for example, this could have been a loss right here if you took the trade. But I was mentioning how price was overextended. You should probably wait for it to retrace a little bit. Also, there was news at 6:45. That would have been a huge red flag to just wait for, news to pass. There's just a lot of factors here for liquidity. So, just a reminder, guys, if you guys want to just have quality entries, just stick to what we're doing here in the live session. You don't have to take like a million trades. You can literally take a few trades and you'll be fine. Like 1 or 2 trades a day. It doesn't even have to be across all your accounts. You could be able to be pretty profitable just taking like 1 or 2 trades, like official trades. All right, so price is coming back down right here. We have the buy signal, but this candle is below the buy signal. So there's obviously not going to be an entry right here. Trend meter is back to blue. It's neutral. Yeah, there's no entry here yet because there's no direction. So in order for us to have entry here for a buy, we need price to push up a bit higher. So this is fine. It's still useful to us here, but we need price to push up above here and then maybe retrace down to here. And if that's the case right there, then I would take the entry right there. Right. So we still have the buy signal here. This is still useful for us. The trend meter is starting to turn green. So if that's the case, that's completely fine. But I need this here to happen. I need price to actually push up slightly, pull back, and then I'm going to take entry at this point right here. But right now, there's no entry. We're just, we're just waiting for this to choose a direction. There's just no direction right now. You can see the trend meter down below keeps turning back to blue because there's no direction. We don't really have a confirmed trend. We currently have a bullish momentum, but we need a bullish trend as well in order for us to take entry. So price is pushing back up right here. This is exactly what I just mentioned. You guys can see my markup here. I'm looking for price to push up, retrace, and then continue up higher. If it only pushes up to here, I'm not going to take entry. It's still too close to like where price is currently at. You need actual direction. So I need price to actually push up. Doesn't push up, no entry. All right, so here we go. Still no push up here. The trend meter is turning green, but still no direction. We need price to push up a bit higher. It's still a little too close. Pick volatility. Volatility is currently at 24. I'm just going to focus on this chart here, guys, because I don't want to miss an entry. I feel like as soon as I go to a different chart, I'm going to miss the entire entry right here. This is typically what happens. Like we take our eyes off the 1 minute for like 1 second, price pushes up, pulls back, and then we miss the entire entry there. So I'm just going to stick on here real quick. I'm going to try to be as like focused as possible on this chart to make sure that we don't miss out on any entries here. But there's no direction, as you guys can see. Price is just going sideways. It's got to be patient for that push to the upside. It's trying to push up right now. It's just not really having that push. It's having a small climb here, and then it pulls back, and then small climb, and then it pulls back. But we need price to like really push a bit higher. Once it gets to that point, then that's gonna be our point of entry. So I think it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time until it does. You can see right there that candle. This candle is trying to push to this next level, but every time it gets up, it gets pulled right back down. There's a clean chart. You can see it's actually at that resistance area. I don't know if this will hold. I don't think it'll hold. I think price will break through it. So that's why I'm okay with taking entries right here. I think price will actually break right through this point and continue up higher. Right? And that's exactly what's happening right here. So realistically, we need a green candle to close above this black line, like somewhere around this area right here. So we need price to push up, close around this area right here. And then the next candle will just retrace down, and then we make it right there where the market's at. But until we get that, it's just going to be a matter of patience and just waiting for this here to actually push up. I think when you least expect it, it's going to push up. So there we go. Price pushes up higher, and then it gets pulled right back down. The volatility is still decent though. It's 23 points right now, so it's still good. As long as it stays above 15, then, you know, raw game. Next news event at 7:30, so I'm hoping we get that entry before we get anywhere near this news event. Yeah, there's just not much of a direction here. Price just keeps going back and forth. Price isn't close to liquidity yet, but if price does continue to climb here, like I mentioned, it's going to try to reach that next level of liquidity, which is going to be right there. So there's a lot of confluences here. Liquidity is looking for a bullish push if it wants to reach that level. Sentiment is still bullish with regard to retail. And there we go, as price pushes up. So it's like we're fishing for this entry here. We're just waiting for it to push up. There we go. It's going to that level that I mentioned earlier. And I have it marked up here. There you go. See that circle I drew? That's the target price point that I'm waiting for. I needed to push up and close above this area and then retrace to that level right there. I already got my pending order ready to be set on Tradeovate. If this is the case, my entry is going to be right here at 35,330. So 35,330. I don't have the pending order yet because I don't have a confirmation, but once we have that confirmation, I'm going to put my pending order there. You guys will see it pull up on my screen when it comes time. But yeah, you can see over here, nothing's really going on. It's just going sideways. Candles here are super small. Market's playing with us for the most part. So what I see happening here is the market's just churning right now. It's churning back and forth, looking to see where the traders are sitting. I think eventually price will push up. The reason why I think it'll push up is because of retail sentiment. It's still very high. It's not super high anymore, but it's still pretty high. It's 74% short. So I think price will push up eventually. But it looks like it's churning here. It's trying to figure out where all the like the market makers are just pushing price back and forth to see where all the traders are sitting. If there's more traders on the sell side, they're going to push price up. More traders on the buy side, push price down, right? That's how they make money. I mean, there's just no direction here. Heading sell signal. Right here. So again, it looks like we're just waiting for another opportunity. Well, let's see. I can answer this question right now. Brian said you can answer this later, but at 7:02, line 53,300 was an entry or no? Oh, this one right here. I mean, technically, it could have been an entry. Like if you're just following the strategy like as is, it could technically be an entry, but I think it would have been too low for me. So I explained this earlier when we were looking at this here. I was waiting for this to come down, but the thing is it came down too far. So yeah, if you're just applying the strategy like plain as is with no confluences and no analysis and no really like outside theory or analysis or like, mindset here. Because like for me, if price gets to this low, like say, for example, this buy signal right here comes up and the entry is below the buy signal, I'm expecting this to possibly reverse. So for me personally, I would just skip the trade and I'd wait for the next one. But if you're not using like, outside information or knowledge or skill, then yeah, this would be an entry because technically there's no sell signal here. So we had a buy signal, price kind of pushed up a little bit. There's no real direction, but price did pull back right here and it just continued back up. So going back to the first step of the strategy is to confirm direction, right? And I think this is probably what's going to throw people off the most because not everybody's able to identify direction, right? So what I mean by direction here is that, you get a buy signal and price pushes up at least a little further. That's why I have this markup right here. It's like, say, for example, there's no noise right here, right? Say we get a buy signal. I want price to push up slightly above so we could have direction that price is actually going to the upside and then retraces down. So yeah, depending on like, that's the subjectivity of direction. Like if you're looking at it from how I analyze it versus say a beginner trader that doesn't really know what I mean by that, they would probably still take the trade here and it still would hit. But, from my experience, I want to have like a clear direction. I don't want like a maybe direction. I want a for sure direction when looking to take entry. Yeah, no problem, Brian. Yeah, that's the thing with trading, guys. Like with trading, it's hard. Like I have this criteria here for you guys, but there's always different ways to perceive it. Like if I say direction, it can be the way that I look at it, or it can be just, you get a buy signal, okay, confirmation of direction there. So it just really depends on like how you see it. But I mean, either way, most of the time it still works. It's just, I'm a very conservative trader. So I double think things and I overthink things sometimes, but it's usually to our advantage because it prevents us from getting caught in moves that we don't want to be stuck in. All right, so we're still waiting for that push right here. I mean, it still hasn't confirmed yet, so we still have the opportunity for entry here. But there's just no direction. You can see here that there's like literally no direction. Price isn't really going anywhere. The ATR is starting to drop because there's no movement. It's currently at 20 right now. So it's still working for us right now because it's above 15, but you guys can see that it's starting to die down a lot. It was at 25 like a few candles ago, and now it's down at 20. So price doesn't move anywhere and it keeps going sideways. The ATR is just going to keep getting smaller and smaller because it just indicates that there's no direction right now. There's no movement, there's no direction. Average true range is just tightening and it's starting to squeeze. You can see it better here on the clean chart. So if I was to take this off right here, you can see right here that this is pretty much the direction right now. It's just going sideways, right? There's like literally no movement there. Price just keeps going back and forth between these structure. That's not the type of market that you want to trade in, right? Actually, so if I was to take this off, the structure is actually right here. Yeah, you guys can see here that it's not really doing anything. It's going sideways in a really tight consolidation. And it's starting to squeeze. If price starts to squeeze like this is just preparing for a breakout. So a breakout is going to happen eventually. Whenever this happens right here, you can see that a breakout happens next. Like for example, over here, price goes sideways, breaks out, goes sideways, fakes out and breaks out this way, goes sideways, breaks out down. There's always a breakout that follows consolidation like this. Whenever price squeezes, it's preparing for the breakout, and that breakout that I'm looking for is to the upside. So I'm trying to position us where we can get into that breakout. So I'm looking for price to push up here, retrace, and then as soon as we enter this, breakout to the upside, right? That's what I'm looking for. But we don't have that confirmation yet. The thing is, you don't want to enter too early because you're going to get screwed if that happens. So again, right here, we're just waiting for that confirmation to the upside, but we still don't have it. So I'm going to take this off right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a circle here so that you guys can see where I'm looking for price to push up to. Looking for price to push up to here, retrace, and then enter for a trade, obviously. But you can see price is just, it's basically filling the range right here. These two big candles right here are basically the range. If you were to mark up a zone right there, so if I just mark up a zone to cover these two candles right here, you guys can see this, that's where all these candles are sitting, right? It's just filling the range. So it's just going back and forth between this range before it actually breaks out. I think they're luring in sellers right here. That's what I'm seeing personally. I think they're luring in sellers right here. And then I think price will probably swing back up. So if we get a sell signal right here, we may have opportunity for better entry. Because the thing is, this buy signal is so high up, so we need price to actually push up higher. If we get a sell signal right here, and then we get another buy signal, then it may give us better opportunity for entry. Because we're just going to have a tighter range or a tighter area for us to look for that pullback versus this upper level right here. I mean, there's nothing we can do here. It's just a matter of patience. We're just waiting for this here to play out. I'm hoping we get it soon because it's 7:15 right now. It's getting close to 7:30, which is the news candle. And if price decides to break out to the bottom side, that's completely fine too. So if price comes back down right here, now we have a sell signal. If the trend meter turns back to red, then we can start looking for a possible sell. But right now, we're still looking for a possible buy because the trend here is bullish. We just need momentum to align with the trend. Now we have a bearish momentum. So if we get a bearish trend, then we can start looking for a possible sell. We don't have that yet, but we'll see what happens. Let me go and mark up some more levels down here, just in case price comes down lower. All right, we got a couple more levels right here, just in case. Level up there too. I think we're good with the levels. All right, let's see what happens here. We have no direction. Price is in between the pivots. So again, we're just looking for some sort of direction here. We're looking for price to push down. If that's the case, we'll look for a sell. And then vice versa, price corrects back up. Look for a buy, right? Let's see, Kenny's asking, a couple of weeks ago, I read that sometimes the NQ and SP can be used as a leading indicator for where the market is going. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, depends on like what you're looking for, Kenny, because I don't know if you know the difference between NQ and S&P. NQ is the top 100 tech stocks. So if you want to see where the tech stocks are going, yeah, NQ is going to be your leading indicator for that. But we don't trade stocks, so it's not really useful to us, right? I mean, if you're trading individual tech stocks, then yeah, it would make sense. You know, if NQ is going up, then okay, all tech stocks are probably going to climb with it because it carries that momentum. Same with S&P. S&P is a top 500 stock. So if you're going, I mean, it's a whole basket of stocks. So it doesn't necessarily tell you anything specific, but well, YM is better. Like if you're going to compare YM and S&P, YM is better because YM is a top 30 stocks, right? So you have the basket's a lot tighter. So if you're looking at YM, that's why we trade YM. We don't trade S&P because you can trade YM or S&P. Usually people trade S&P because it's cheaper and it moves slower. Like if you can't handle the volatility of YM, then you go to S&P if you want something that moves slower. But yeah, I mean, the YM is gonna move the same as S&P, but YM is gonna move first. So YM is actually a better leading indicator if you're looking at, you know, the stock market in general, because YM has 30 stocks. So if like one stock moves, it's gonna move in one direction. If you put YM and S&P right next to each other, they're going to move exactly alike because S&P mirrors YM. It's just a bigger basket of stocks. YM has top 30 stocks. S&P has top 500. S&P 500 has the top 500 stocks. So, you know, one's going to move faster than the other, but YM is going to move first. So YM will go up and then S&P will follow. So yeah, I'm not sure if you understand how those work, but that's pretty much how it works. NQ is just the top 100 tech stocks. S&P 500 is the top 500 stocks. YM is the top 30 stocks. So that's why we trade YM, because we want the volatility. Doesn't necessarily tell you where the market's going because it depends on what you're trading. Like if like YM is going up or S&P is going up, but you're trading Amazon and Amazon's going down, it doesn't mean Amazon's going to go back up. That's an individual stock. So it just really depends on like what you're looking for and what you mean by like where market is going. All right, so we got a buy signal right here. We're looking for it to push up. I mean, we're still looking for that buy there. Again, we need price to push up higher. So where price is currently at right here, we need price to push up a little higher, maybe up to this level, retrace and continue. If that's the case, then we're going to look for a buy here. I mean, price can even retrace to this area right here. If we get a retracement right here, we can still look for possible entry, because it's still pretty high. So possible entry right here at the 10 mark, guys. If we get a red candle right here, I'm going to put a buy limit right here at the 35,310. If it goes any lower than that, I'm not going to enter. It's just too low. So this red candle has to close above this black line right here. If it closes above the black line with a red candle, I'm going to put a pending order right there and see if I can catch this this climb to the upside. If not, I'll just wait for another possible entry. All right, so I got my pending order sitting right there. All right, I'm in the position. I'm only taking it on my top step, guys. I'm not taking it on my MC4. It just happened too quickly. I wasn't able to fill it on there. All right, so we'll see where this ends up going. We didn't really have it pushed up into direction. I would have wanted to push up a little bit higher. I kind of fumbled into this position, honestly. I should have waited for it to push up higher, but I'm in the position already. So what can I do, right? Typically, I wanted to push up a little bit higher, retrace, and then make entry at this point a little bit higher up here. But my confidences for the buy are still aligned. So that's why I'm kind of okay with taking the buy here, because I do think price will push up eventually. It might not push up right away, but eventually I'm expecting price to push up. If I get a sell signal here, I got to close out for a small loss if that's the case. But I'm in the position right here, and we'll see where this ends up going. If you hold on to it, great. If I need to close out early, then that's okay too. But yeah, I kind of fumbled into this position, guys. I should have waited for it to push up a bit higher, but I wanted to get in before the news event right here at 7:30. So if this here closes with the sell signal, I got to close out for a loss. Or if it hits my stop loss, that's fine too. But I did fall into this position. I should have waited a little bit longer with a push to the upside. So I'm watching it right here. This is only on my top step. It's not on my other accounts. All right, let's see where this goes. Volatility is currently at 19. All right, I got to close out for a small loss, guys, unfortunately.
All the same.
So I close out right here for a small loss. We got a sell signal right there. That's just how the strategy works. So like right here, I had to close out for a small loss. So I closed out right here. Let's see where my loss is at. Okay. There's too many markups right here where I can't really make adjustments. Let me bring this forward. All right, so my loss, I cut out my loss right here at 170 pips. So not really that big of a loss, small loss actually, compared to the full move. Because if we held on to the full move, it'd be at 250. Ate this for a small loss right there because we had the sell signal, and it's all good. This is my bad because I personally, I would say I fumbled into this position. I needed this to push up a little bit higher, but I felt like this was going to push up, and obviously it didn't. So ate this loss right here. That's all good. Move on to the next one. So I'm gonna look for the next entry here. Hopefully the next entry will be a win, and then I'll just recoup that loss. And then we'll see if we can have another one after that. So yeah, move on to the next entry there. So this is the thing, guys, like, you know, when the market's kind of moving like this, a little bit irregular, you have to be like really on point with like closing your entry. Because for example, here I closed out my entry for only at that, for 17 points. If I held on to it, I'd have a bigger loss right here, right? So if you get an opposite signal like this right here, you just got to pull out. Like you have a buy signal right here. If you get an opposite sell signal, you just got to pull out because price is going opposite of what you're aiming for. I should have waited longer because typically I want price to push up. This is what I was looking for earlier, but I just FOMO'd into this position. Typically you want price to push up, retrace right here, and then enter, right? I entered right here because the body of the candle was still very far off, right? Entry happened right here and the body was down here. So I was like, okay, if this is the case, I might pull back a little bit and then continue pushing up, but that wasn't the case here. So it's all good. If you guys ate that loss, just move on to the next one and we'll hopefully recoup that. It's only 17 points. So like one more win or 1.5 win will we'll bring it back to break even for the day. So fortunately, pause too early, close out on opposite momentum signal, very partial loss. All right, so took a loss right there. Let me take a screenshot of my loss. So I can be 100% transparent with you guys. The thing is, losses happen, guys. You just have to move on with it. Don't have to dwell on it too much. This is like typical NFP week. You know, NFP week's either really good or it's really bad. This week has been kind of bad compared to the other NFP weeks that we've had before in the past. Yeah, I'm only down. Let's see, what did I lose on that trade? I lost 1,200. That's not too bad. You know, typically if I was to lose this for a full loss, it'd probably be around like 1,800. So I cut my losses pretty quickly off that right there. Now that price is dropping below, we can possibly look for a sell here. The only problem is that we have the news event coming up over here at 7:30. So gotta wait for this news event over here in the next 4 minutes. I'm hoping we don't get an entry until then. But I have a feeling the entry will probably come up during the news event here. Let me see the news event for 7:30. What is it? It's just gas stock. So I'll see if like we can maybe get an entry right after the news happens. But we'll have to like really analyze it to make sure. Yes, I only lost 1,200. I think for my daily loss, I can lose like 3,000. So I still have opportunity to come back and then just recoup some of that loss there. Because my max, I think the max daily on Top Step is 3,000 for me. All right, so we got news coming over here in about 3 minutes. Waiting for this right here to pass. Once it passes, I'm gonna look for that retracement. So we can look for sells here because we have a sell signal. We have a sell trend meter over here. And I'm just waiting for the news here to pass. I'm hoping the news isn't really affected too much. I don't think it will. It's low impact news, gas stocks. I don't even know if there's a gas stock in the Dow. Let me check the Dow real quick. I think it's just Chevron, or Chevron's not even on here anymore. Oh yeah, it is. So Chevron's the only stock that's part of YM. That's the main gas stock there. Chevron's currently, it's not even moving that much. It's currently like 0.27 points in the green. Sorry, price is dropping right here. We're still looking for that retracement if possible, but obviously we want the news to pass here first, and then we can look for the entry. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said, got to wait for all this news to pass. Definitely. Yeah, CJ said, I agree with C6. LOL. Hopefully Sean's FOMO threw them off because they're definitely watching. Yeah, I just got FOMO on that move, guys. That was 100% my fault. Because I was explaining to you guys over here with this entry, right? For this one, we were looking for it to push up higher and then retrace to this point. And that's what I should have been looking for here. I should have been waiting for that same thing to happen to make entry. But just FOMO got the best of me. We've been sitting here for like almost like over an hour now. So I just was itching to get into a trade. And you guys can see it doesn't matter how long you guys have been trading for, the FOMO will still kick in no matter what. It doesn't matter how good of a trader you think you are, how good your trade psychology you might think you have. FOMO has unlimited control over you guys, over your emotions of trading. So even for me, luckily for us, I was able to cut the losses early, with our strategy. So I didn't really eat too much of a loss there. It's just, I'll bounce back on the next move. But it's NFP, so like I should have known. Like I should have been more careful for sure. All right, this is the news candle right here, guys. If this ends up retracing, the entry might be over here at the 40, but the problem with this here is that it's a news candle. So I'm probably not going to take entry here. I'm going to watch it, but I'm probably not going to take entry here yet. This is the news candle right here at 7:30. I think it's pretty much flat. Let me check the news event real quick. I don't think it's going to be very much of a move. It's such a low impact news event. It was actually positive. So it's 14 bill right now. It was they're forecasting to be 18 bill, which was negative, but it was actually very high compared to what they were expecting. So we'll see here if that's the case, then. Okay, this is kind of tricky because the entry would be right here at the 40 mark. But it's right at the news candle. I'm not going to take it. I'll follow it here, but I'm not going to take it because this is the news candle right here. I don't want to mess with it. Those are the entry would have been. It's probably gonna hit TP. It's too late to make entry though, so I'm not gonna mess with it. But yeah, this would have been the entry, but the problem is that this is the news candle right here. So a lot of this movement here is like reaction to the news. So I'm not gonna take that risk. I already made a dumb decision up here, taking a stupid trade that I shouldn't have taken. So I'm not gonna take this, and we'll follow it, but that's basically where our entry would have been if there was no news here. So this is why you don't want to trade news, because a lot of crazy movement like this happens in the market. I'm just going to sit tight. We don't need to force anything here. So I'm not in this position. I'm going to wait for the news to pass. Basically 5 minutes after news is usually where the movement happens. It's only been like 2 minutes since the news event. So if we get a buy signal here, then another sell signal, then we'll have opportunity for another, possible entry. But right now I'm not in this position. I'm really glad we didn't, because it means a massive drawdown right now. And we probably would have to close out again for a small loss there. But good thing we didn't take the trade. I'm gonna take this off so that you guys don't think that I'm in there. But yeah, so that time I had control over my FOMO. My FOMO could have like kicked in again and I could have screwed up on that trade, but I knew better this time to not get burnt twice in a row. That's the worst, bro. If you guys get burnt out twice in a row, then that's considered revenge trading and over trading. That's how you guys can really point out that, you probably need to take a step away and take a little break, because if you start revenge trading and over trading, that could be the end of your account, right? So yeah, if you guys feel like you're starting to FOMO into positions, the first FOMO trade is okay, because as long as you realize that you made a mistake, it's fine. Like for me, for example, I know I made the mistake here, so I'm moving on from that and I'm learning from the mistake. But if you guys are following into a trade and then you FOMO into a second trade, it's probably time to either stop trading for the day or take a break, because that third FOMO trade could just be the end of your account. So just keep that in mind, guys. When you guys are trading, I feel like that's the main reason why people blow their accounts, because they're either over leveraging, they're FOMOing into positions, or they're over trading. So yeah, if that's you guys, you're not alone. Even I FOMO. Yeah, Kevin said there's also a double body there. So there's a double body V1 variation that's set up right here. Not necessarily V1 variation, but a V1 pattern that came up right here, which is another confluence to like maybe be careful, right? Let's see. Yeah, Kevin said, yeah, he took an L on the liquidity and had to go to his trading log, then switch to his paper account. Yeah, if that's the case, guys, if you guys take a loss and you guys know the loss is from a mistake that you made, switch to your paper account or your demo account if you want to keep trading. Because I know for like certain people, for certain people, like once you have that first loss, like for example, for me, if I have like one loss for the day and it's like a really bad loss, or if I didn't follow my strategy properly, like for example, for this one over here, I cut it a little early, right at 17 points. If I let this trade run to full stop loss and I didn't cut early from there, then that's a sign for me to just stop trading for the day because I'm not following my trading plan. But for example, here I followed my trading plan, made a mistake, but I did follow my trading plan with the exit. I can still go on because I know my trade psychology is not totally fucked for the day. Because that's the main thing you guys have to understand. If your trade psychology is messed up, then you just got to stop. Because you're going to keep making mistakes. Let's see, I had a question over here from Alex. Let's see what Alex mentioned. Let's see. So Alex's question over here is, I'll answer your question a little later. I mean, I'll just answer it here, but then I'll also respond to your question a little later. So Alex is basically just asking, what strategy works best pre-market? All of them do. I mean, like all the strategies work good pre-market. You just need to have volatility in the market, right? The thing is you need the indicators though to have access to those. See, I mean, the main strategy, like you can apply, one of the main strategies that I think Shiv applies and a couple other people in the group is going to be the high-low momentum scalp, right? That's one of the strategies that a lot of people in the group apply. I don't personally apply it myself, but I don't even trade pre-market, but that's like one of the strategies that a lot of people apply. Like, so for example, over here, we have a higher high, sell signal right here, broken close, past pivots 1 and 2. That'd be the entry right there for a full TP. You can probably base it off the ATR. ATR off this entry right here was 12. So you're going for 12. And you can do it for a 1-to-1. So 1-to-1 right there, full TP. Same with like, say this one right here, there's a higher high, sell signal right there, broken close, past pivots 1 and 2. You'd have another opportunity right there for an entry. The ATR is at 9. So if you want to go a 1-to-1, I mean, you probably wouldn't go for 9 though. The stop loss is too tight. There's no way you can do an entry there for 9 because you got to cover the spread. So you probably would want to go for ATR, maybe you probably want to look for a higher ATR. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the strategies that a lot of people apply outside the live session, a high-level momentum scalp. But you can also apply the V1 variations. There's a ton of strategies that you can apply, Alex. There's not like one strategy. And there's not one that's better than the other. They're all good. It just depends on like what you're good at applying, right? How good can you follow directions? Like that's really what it is. Because none of the strategies are like, I wouldn't give a strategy out and I wouldn't be applying a strategy if it didn't work well. Everything that I apply works well because it's been deeply tested. You just need volatility. So the problem with trading pre-market is that if you want to trade Asia session, good luck. There's no volatility there. If you want to trade London, possibly pre-market, there's not always high volatility. So it just kind of depends on your trading style and how you want to trade it. All right, so we have a sell signal right here, guys. There's going to be a possible opportunity for another entry. I think we're clear on news for today. We have news again at 8 o'clock, I think 8:30 actually. So we're good with opportunities right here. We have a sell signal. So again, right here, if we get the sell signal, I'm looking for price to drop slightly below. And then I'm looking for that retracement. And then I'm looking for possible entry. I'm just going to move this. I don't really care about the bias for today. All right, perfect. We got the sell signal right here. This is what we're looking for. We need price to push down slightly lower, like down here, retrace, and continue dropping. So I'm not going to make the same mistake I did earlier. I'm not going to enter right here. That was a big mistake on this trade over here. I'm going to wait for it to push down a little more. The volatility is currently at 17 ATR, so the volatility is a bit higher. It's decent right now. We just needed to stay above 15 for the most part. All right, so we're just waiting for this here to drop down a little bit. We want to confirm the direction. So we got to sell momentum here. We need a direction. So in order for us to have that direction, we need price to actually drop down a bit. So that's all we're waiting for right here. I'm hoping there's some movement here, guys, because if there's no movement, we're not going to get that drop down. It's going to be the same thing that happened up here with the initial entry that we were looking to take. Sorry, we have the red candle dropping right here. We need this to actually drop a little lower. So it needs to be somewhere around this area before we can start looking for any possible entry. All right, so we got that retracement right there. This market sucks. There's you guys will see, like, whenever a momentum signal comes up, typically there's a push, but there just hasn't been a push lately. Like for example, over here, this was like closer to open. You have a buy signal and price pushes up. You got a sell signal here, price reverses and it pushes up higher. Actually, this is where it started to not really move very much. You can see a sell signal came up, price didn't really do anything. Buy signal came up, price didn't do anything. Sell signal came up, didn't do anything. Buy signal came up, didn't do anything, etc. So we just need this to actually do something, and it's now pushing down a little lower. Exactly. Yeah. Andrew said price just loves opening price. It just keeps going back to it, right? So we're just waiting for this to come down. It's 7:40 right now, so we still have like 20 minutes till 8. But the volatility is obviously dying down. You guys can see the volatility was a lot higher over here. It's like 24, 25, 23. And then it started to die down over here. It went down to 20, went down to 18, and now it's at 17. But yeah, we're basically just waiting for price to come back down to this area. This should have been kind of expected though. So I've been explaining this pretty much all week. NFP is like a tricky week to trade. NFP week is either really good, it's either really bad, or it's just flat. For the most part, it's really flat. As you guys can see, like pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yesterday was a little better, but Monday, Tuesday was flat. Wednesday was kind of okay. We were able to take one entry there. We would have had two, but we missed one. And then today I kind of screwed up on this entry. This could have been easily avoided, but the market's pretty much flat. There's no entries for us here. Volatility is low. Price is just going sideways. Here's the clean chart. You guys can see I drew the structure from market open here, and it hasn't really gone anywhere. This is the same pattern that's been running through the market all week. So price will fake out above, come back to opening price, fake out below, come back to opening price, fake out, opening price, fake out, opening price, comes back down. It's just the same process over and over and over again. Let me see if there's any other levels here that I can mark up. Yeah, there's not really much here. You guys can see that these other levels just pretty much cut into the current range. The original range was up here for the higher high, original range right here for the lower low. Price came back up, established a new higher high right here, but didn't really do too much. Came back down here, back into the same zone. But realistically, you guys can see here that there's no direction. Price has just been going back and forth within this area. This is a classic summer market. There's like no direction here. Typically there's a direction. Like, so for example, market will open here. Like in the fall season, price will open up and it'll just keep climbing, right? Or it'll do the opposite. It'll just keep dropping. Price will come down and then it'll just keep dropping lower and lower. But as you guys have seen here, and this is the reason why I have separate charts that are marked up, because I want you guys to see the market structure. There is no market structure. It's just a range within this area here. Yeah, Andrew said the opening price was a strong magnet today. Pulls away, pulls back, pulls away, pulls back, pulls away, pulls back. Again, right here, price pulled away, pulled back. And now it's just going sideways along this area, which, personally, to me, I think it's super annoying when price goes back to this opening price. Because it just shows that there's nothing going on. If you look at the fundamentals from today, they haven't really moved. So if you go and refresh this real quick, the fundamentals are currently still at like the same level that it was on open, because there just hasn't been too much movement. It's negative 114, but it's not very strong. It's just staying at negative 114 pretty much the entire time. We still don't have a direction of price right here. You can see here a little bit cleaner on the main chart. So this here is pretty much out the window. This setup here that we were looking for never came down. We have a buy signal over here, but again, this isn't really useful to us because the trend is currently bearish. So hopefully if we get another sell signal here, maybe we'll get some direction as we get closer to 8 o'clock. But I'm not holding my breath for this here because it's not necessarily there's no confirmation. If we had a better confirmation, it'd be better. So we have a buy signal here. I'm looking for a sell signal because hopefully the volatility will pick up closer to 8 o'clock. If you guys have been trading closer to 8, that's typically where the volatility starts to pick back up. There's just nothing here for us to take. There's nothing for us to take, and there's no reason for us to force anything. So just another reminder, guys, if you guys don't need to take anything, just sit tight and wait for the opportunities to come through. All right, we got some profits over here from Sisu. Sisu locked on a total profit of 1,550 for the day. Nice work, Sisu. Second account, total profit of 1,600. Looks like he took the liquidity push from earlier this morning, 641, yeah. And then his other account here, his third account, total profit of 2,350. Nice work, Sisu. Yeah, so good profits right there from Sisu. If you guys have any profits to post up, feel free to send them in. I know some of you guys took the liquidity pushes from earlier this morning, but other than that, there's not really much else for us to take here, at least not yet. So I'm still waiting for a sell signal here. I'm hoping we get a sell signal. If we do, maybe we'll be able to squeeze one out before we close out for the day. But if we don't have enough opportunity here to squeeze one out, then obviously I'm just going to eat that loss for the day and then move on. I think this might be the first red week I've had in, a long time. I can't remember the last time we had a red week. Let me look at our results for the year so far. Because we just have one more day. So like, if anything, I have like one more day to break even maybe. But for the most part, yeah, we're still positive for the month or for the year, of course. But yeah, we didn't have any red weeks for July. Not that I want a red week, but looking back, let's see. Yeah, we actually really haven't had a red week in like the past couple of months. So we haven't had a red week in July. We didn't have a red week in June. Might have had a red week in May. June week 1 was good. Yeah, honestly, I don't even know the last time I had a red week. We had like some flat weeks, but I can't remember the last time I had a red week. Yeah, I don't think we've been having losses in May. Yeah, so maybe this is just one of those weeks that I just have to like bite the bullet. I'm still gonna hang around though. So it's 748 right now. The volatility is starting to die down a lot. You can see the ATR is back to 15, so it's pretty much flat right now. If it goes anywhere below that, possibly no entry, but I'm hoping we'll have maybe at least one entry before we get off for the day. Yeah, Randy said, yeah, I had patience and hope, but no avail. Yeah, I know. Well, it's better to have patience and hope than to like force trades, right? So that's the thing that I want to get across to you guys too, is that on some days you just have to eat the loss and move on. Because if you take more trades, then it's just going to eat at your account, right? So the thing with like trading, I think the biggest thing with trading is understanding when not to trade, because that usually be the key factor from you guys like surviving the trading game. Because I could already see, just looking at how the market's moving right here, I could see a lot of people like forcing trades and then basically getting screwed, right? Because there's a lot of opportunities here. Like if you just look at how price is moving throughout the day, there's a lot of areas where people would likely enter trades from and just get stopped out like horribly. But there's just no direction. So it's like, I feel like if you traded in this market and you made money, like a decent amount of money, it's like a lot of luck because, I mean, these spikes are like, for example, I can see some people maybe entering some sells here, like at these structures, but it's not really like that smooth. Let me see if I can see it. Yeah, it's about like 300 pips. So unless you have like a pretty big stop loss, or if your stop loss is too tight, it's easy to get like kind of wrapped around in how market's moving right here. Like for example, here, people will try to trade price as price passes through opening price right here. Like for example, price pushes up. I can see people probably maybe writing this up and then getting stopped out, and then vice versa, price coming back down and trying to write it down, but it doesn't exactly push, to the next level. Because that's typically how zone traders trade. If people are zone trading, they typically want to trade from zone to zone, but the zones here aren't really getting, well, now they're not even getting reached because the volatility is so low. And I feel like there's just a lot of opportunities of getting trapped here from where I see this. Let's see. Yeah, all right, Shiv. So Shiv said he thinks he'll take the loss for the day and just come back tomorrow. Yeah, definitely, Shiv. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's see, question from, let's see, Andrew said, market's moving like Monday opposite signals every 5 to 7 candles. Yeah, that's one thing too that that's kind of a red flag. When you guys see so many momentum signals here and there's no direction, right? Like, so for example, here we had a buy signal, price kind of pushed up a little bit, but not really. We had a sell signal here, price pushed down a little bit, but not really. Like there's not really much of a direction. Price will push in that direction slightly, and then it'll just go opposite. That's a big red flag because, for example, if you look even here during London session, you'll get a sell signal and price will actually push because that's how it's supposed to push when there's momentum. But today there just isn't very much of it. We had a pending sell signal here. I was hoping that this would probably give us opportunity for entry, but there's just nothing that we could have taken right there. Or I mean, we probably can still. So there's a pending sell signal right there. ATR is currently at 15. So obviously I'm going to be on here for a little bit longer until 8 o'clock. If we get a sell signal right here, then there may be possible opportunity for one more entry. Sell signal right there. If price drops a little lower and retraces, then we may have one more opportunity for entry here. Price needs to drop a little lower. It's too high right now. So we need another red candle to push down to this area right here. If we get that, then maybe this will be the opportunity for us to recoup some of that loss from earlier. If not, obviously we're not going to force anything here. But here he goes. This red candle drops a little lower. We got about 20 seconds left on the candle. Yeah, Randy said today's volatility is actually really nice, just no direction. Yeah, I agree 100%. Marston's asking, so basically you manually cut loss before trade to hit stop loss if trade goes against your idea. If you get an opposite signal, yeah. So say, for example, you're entering a sell and you get a buy signal, that's just indicating that momentum is going the opposite direction, right? So if you get something like that, then yeah, you cut your losses at the close of that signal. So right here, we had a buy entry, price pulled back. We got a sell signal right there that was opposite. So right there is where we cut it. So instead of losing 250 pips, we just lost 160 pips or 170 pips right there. So yeah, that's where you would cut your losses a little earlier. There was a high level momentum scalp right here, just hit full TP. Thanks, CJ, for mentioning that. This is the strategy that I was telling you about, Alex. It'd be the high level momentum scalp. This strategy actually works very well during ranging markets. So today's actually a good day to be applying that strategy. It's not one of the official strategies we apply anymore. It was prior, like a couple months ago, it's one of the main strategies, but we stopped doing it because the market was moving more directional. But it still works fine. A lot of people still apply it. All right, so we have price pushing down. We actually have a direction here. This satisfies the direction criteria that we were looking for in the past. Right now, we currently have price down below. If we get a green retracement signal, then entry is going to be right here at the 250 mark. If not, then we just got to keep waiting for price to actually retrace. So right here, price is actually dropping a little further. This is going to fit the criteria that we were looking for. The only big risk here is that the ATR is kind of low. It's at 14. So it's a little risky because it's below 15. The volatility is still kind of there, but it's not very heavy, like not as heavy as it was prior. So let's see if this closes with a green retracement signal or green retracement momentum, or sorry, green retracement candle, the entry would be right here at the 50 mark. If it doesn't and it keeps dropping like it is right here, then we have possible opportunity over here if this retraces below this black line right here, which will be at the 40 mark. So if the volatility drops down to 13, I'm for sure not going to take the trade anymore. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said it's pushing down too hard, too close to the end of our session. Yeah, I agree with Patricia too. So let me see where this ends up going right here. This is going to be at the 50 mark. It's at the 56. See where this ends up closing right here. So the entry would technically be right here. I don't think I'm going to take it, guys. The volatility is just a little too low right now. Yeah, exactly. Patricia, thanks for the heads up. Patricia said, wait for a better day, Sean. I agree with you too, Patricia. So I'm not going to take the position here, guys. I'll mark it up for you guys to see. But I already feel that this is a FOMO position for me. I just really want to recoup the loss from today. And this is going to be another FOMO entry for me. So I'm not going to take this entry here. I'll mark it up so that you guys can follow it. But, you know, Patricia's like that voice in the back of my head telling me that this is a horrible idea. So I'll mark it up for you guys to follow, but I'm not going to take this position. So I'm not in this position right here. It's currently active. If you guys decided to take it, I'm going to sign out of my trader base so I don't make any dumb mistakes here. But yeah, it's too close to the session. So like it's 7:57 right now. The volatility is too low. There's so many things here that's going against my analysis. So like typically, like I mentioned before, I only take trades when the ATR is above 15, right? And volatility is too low right now. So I don't like how price is really moving. And you guys can see right here that it's pretty much flat. Generally, if you were to take this position, it would go straight to TP right away. But you can see the ATR is dropping even lower. It's down to 13. So definitely not a good entry to take, in my opinion. You know, thanks Patricia for like stopping me from entering the trade here, because I probably would have entered it if I didn't think twice. Yeah, the market just sucks today. This is just how the market's been for pretty much the entire week. You know, it's probably a good thing we didn't take a trade, because we'd have to cut our losses again here for a small loss for like 12 points. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said, I'm glad you didn't take it. Yes, it's time to walk away for today specifically. But yeah, if you guys don't have to trade, today's just not a good day. I feel like FOMO is like kind of cutting into my analysis a lot today. And look at that big spike right there, just big random spike. So thankfully we didn't take the position there. It's just not a good trading day. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll answer Alex's question here again real quick before we get off. the market today is just not really giving us what we need. We need decent volatility so that we can hit our TP right away, and we just don't have that. So let's see, we have Patricia over here. She said slow day, but in the green. It'll come back tomorrow, hopefully with a better trading day. I agree with you too, Patricia. So Patricia's first account over here, she made 480 for the day. Her second account, she made 380. And then her third account over here, unfortunately, she took a negative 35. But it's all good. She's still in the green for the day overall. So solid profits right there, Patricia. We have Sam over here as well. Sam locked in a total profit of 372 for the day. Nice work right there. You traded gold and US30. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's really much for us here to look at. I don't think there's a reason for us to really stay on the charts. The volatility is picking up slightly, but I don't think it's like worth trading right now, because you guys can see over here from the clean chart that there's not really too much going on. So pretty much for the entire live session today, you can see from 6:30 up until 8, price didn't really do much. Price came up, or price came down actually, faked out, pushed up, faked out up here, and it just kept getting pulled back to opening price. Basically like what Andrew said, he was mentioning that, yeah, price is likely to get pulled back into that opening price, and that's exactly what happened, right? So we had price down here, and then it got pulled all the way up to opening price. You guys can see where it whipped off. It whipped directly off the opening price right there. And then it just came right back down. So yeah, I think the best skill of trading is really just understanding when not to trade. Thankfully, I had you guys here to stop me from entering any more dumb positions for the day. So yeah, unfortunately, I entered we only took one trade today. We were able to exit for a small loss. So I'm only down 1,275 for the day. Not too bad. For the week so far, I'm still doing decent. So yesterday I locked in some profit, 785, and then my other accounts. So overall for the week, I'm still in profit, but for the actual results, it's still red. So like my personal profits are positive, but at the end of the week, when I calculate the results, we're still in the negative right now because we had a loss on Monday over here. Yeah, we had a loss on Monday over here. Unfortunately, it was supposed to get TP, but due to the issue with TradingView, I ended up eating a loss there. So I had a small loss there for 1,900. I had a win off live session, so I'm technically in profit for all my accounts, but for the results for the week, we're technically in the negative. So I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. I'm not gonna like try to pad anything. If we end up closing this week in the red, it's gonna be our first red week in maybe this entire year, but it happens. So let's see. Yeah, no problem, Arson. I know it's a tough day today, but luckily we only ate one loss, and it was a partial loss. So we'll bounce back from it hopefully tomorrow with maybe 1 or 2 wins to bring us back into the positive. CJ said high manipulation today. Overall bias was clearly bearish. The things that should have hit didn't. Just randomly opposite directions. Yeah, I agree too, CJ. The market was just not really moving any direction today. We had a clear bearish bias with regard to. I mean, you guys can see over here. If you look here on the shorter time frame, it's been bearish, right? 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute. Price below the pivots, trend meter red, pivots angling down. Same with the 30-minute over here, 1 hour and 4 hour higher time frames. Everything's bearish. So price should have dropped further, but it just didn't. Like if you look at the charts here, you can see there's no direction. Price pretty much went sideways for the entire session. But if you look at all the other time frames, price has pretty much been bearish. It should have continued to drop a little bit with maybe a possible push to the upside due to sentiment, but we just didn't have that. So, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to like take the market as it comes and not really try to force anything there. But back to Alex, let me see, is Alex still here? Alex actually left already. So I'm just going to message him privately. But again, Alex's question was if I have any recommendations for any pre-market strategies. I mean, it just depends on like what you're looking to apply, guys. So we have like, I mean, I don't even know how many strategies. We have maybe like 15 to 20 strategies that are available. They're all kind of similar in a sense. So it depends on like what you like to apply. But for the most part, I mean, if you want to trade pre-market, you might want to trade a different asset. You probably don't want to trade US30 because the volatility is too low. But you can trade these strategies on different assets. So it's just really up to preference. But yeah, other than that, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And if not, we're just going to wrap it up. There's just nothing for us to look at here. And I think if we stay on any longer, we might fall into like another horrible position that we should be taking. So yeah, exactly. James said not the best day for pullbacks. I agree. There's just no direction. So once the direction picks up, hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to bounce back with some more pullbacks. Usually the market's not like this. This is like typical for summer. But once we get into the fall, you guys got to keep in mind it's August and next month is September. So we're already going back into the fall within a month's time. So instead of us bouncing between strategies, we're just going to stick with momentum pullback scalps, and we're just going to tough it through for the next couple weeks as we get closer to the fall, where market volatility will pick back up. So, all right, guys, other than that, I think that's it for the questions. If you guys have anything else, feel free to message me on Telegram or email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for NFP. Hopefully the market volatility picks up and it's smooth so that we can pick up some entries before